Hey YouTube, this is Don. Today, I apologize for delaying videos like this. Yeah. But I guess better late than never. I'm gonna do a Christmas review since I got this for Christmas. And today I'm gonna review the Nintendo Switch Power A wireless GameCube-like controller. Now this is a wireless GameCube controller made by the same company who made the other controller I reviewed earlier. And this is a wireless one. And as you can see, it's got the Pokemon Umbreon on it, which really brings a wave of nostalgia from my childhood. It's shaped like a GameCube. It may look like a GameCube controller, but it's got a, as the box says, it's got a Nintendo GameCube style controller. A Nintendo Switch product. On the back it shows the buttons. Now this one has no unnecessary features compared to the other controller. It's blue, as you can see, much like the other one. It's Bluetooth wireless freedom, includes motion controls, larger D-pad, and added left shoulder button, unlike the original GameCube controller. Compatible with all Nintendo Switch games, flashing LED low battery warning, and in this one, much like the other one, includes two AA batteries, which I would certainly give them credit for including. Unfortunately, unlike the other controllers, this one does not support HD Rumble, IR, nor an amiibo NFC features, unfortunately. But that's okay, I guess, because I don't know how these things even work anyway. But maybe when I research more information, I'll review those in another video, or make a remastered video on those. Well, without further ado, let me show you the controller. Looks like a GameCube controller with Umbreon on it, from Pokemon Gold and Silver, or even Pokemon Coliseum, which I grew up with Pokemon Coliseum, most likely. It's got the same analog stick as your average GameCube controller, got the same camera C analog stick, but unlike the GameCube controller, the original, listen to this when I do this. Yep, these things click when you press them down. It's got a bigger D-pad than the original GameCube controller. It's got the same buttons as the other controller I reviewed, the screenshot button, minus and plus button, home button. It's got the same buttons as the original GameCube controller. On the back you can see there's no option to use, much like the other controller I reviewed with Pikachu on it. You can't use a USB cable with this thing. No. Much like the other controller that I reviewed earlier, the only way you could sync this is by pressing the button. And I did hand tested this controller, and unfortunately, much like the other controller, this thing can be difficult to sync. Like, in order to sync this thing, you have to go to the controller options, to reconfigure the controllers in order to sync this in, and so the console can recognize it as a new controller being installed. But anyway, it's got two trigger buttons, and unlike the GameCube controller, where it only has the one button on the right, it has another one on the left to correspond with the other Nintendo Switch Pro controllers. But underneath, it's got the Power A logo. So no Nintendo logos on this thing. And I think these might be third-party controllers for the Nintendo Switch. But open this thing up, and you can see it uses two AA batteries, and this thing pretty much slides off. And that's one thing I want to give the company credit for, is to include two AA's so we can immediately try this controller. I'll give them credit for that. Now, moving on to the instructions. And it does have instructions on how to avoid battery leakage on warnings, if you wish. And it's officially licensed by Nintendo, obviously. As if, well, they did get authorized by Nintendo, like a third-party accessory, I guess. But it's a pretty cool thing, overall. Now, it says here... It doesn't... I forgot where it says you have to sync the controller. Let's see, Oh, I might have lost it. Sorry. But here's how this controller works. Rather than going to the controller sync screen, first you need to, do it the different way. Rather than using that sync button, you have to press both bumper buttons or the trigger buttons. I think the bumper buttons. I can't remember. But you have to press both bumper buttons at the same time on the part of the menu, on the controller menu of this Nintendo Switch console, where you sync this controller in via the controller order switching option. Once you select that option of switching the order on the Nintendo Switch controller, this is where you get to sync in this controller on that part of the game, on that part of the menus on the Switch console itself, via the controller switch option. First, you have to hold down these bumper buttons until the console recognizes the controller being discovered. And once the controller is fully synced into the console, you'll be able to use this the next time you play your Switch. So yeah, it's a pretty cool looking controller, but they come in different colors. And this one I got has a Pokemon named Umbreon on it, who's a dark type Pokemon. Now, I'm not gonna go through a lot about this Pokemon. I just want to discuss the controller itself. But in conclusion, if you really want to be able to, if you don't care about amiibos or all that features that the Pro Controller has that this controller doesn't, this might be a good option to use. Sadly, I couldn't find any in stores, sadly. And the only places that I know would have them is places like Amazon or eBay. They should be more easier to come by on Amazon or eBay than in stores, unfortunately. But otherwise, it is shaped like your average GameCube controller, just with certain changes, cosmetic changes, and features that makes it different from your average Nintendo GameCube controller. So, if you like GameCube controllers on the Nintendo Switch that are wireless, this might be a good option. Although there's wired version, which I might talk about for another video, which is a subject for another video that I previously reviewed. So, if you want to see that controller I reviewed earlier, go back to my previous video because I want to discuss about this. Bottom line, if you like wireless GameCube controllers for the Switch, this is a good option to have. So anyway, like I said, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Be sure to hit a like. And yeah. At the time that this video is recorded, I'll see you in 2021. This is me, signing off. Also, hit the notification bell to be notified what videos are coming up next. And hit a like if you like what you see here. And comment be sure to comment if you... Yeah. But yeah, like I said, see you in 2021. This is me, signing off.